What's happening, YouTube? This is your girl, Megan. Welcome back to the Hood Astro Queen, to all of my returning subscribers. But if this is your first time on my page today, be sure to hit that subscribe button because you know you want to. Also, hit that notification bell to join the Noti gang. That way, you'll be alerted whenever I make a new post. So, today, I'm coming to you guys once more with yet another highly requested celebrity birth chart reading. And this time it is for none other than my favorite Sista. I got my own mind. I do my own style at my own time. You gotta know it's well for me, like you got to do what's right for you. Wow. I'm getting carried away here. And I don't even know all the words for real. But if you know, like I know, you know, Miss Tia and Tamera Mowry. All of my millennials out there, we literally grew up with these two ladies. Like, oh my God, Tia and Tamera are some of the biggest acting sensations from the 90s, like ever, period. They made some of the best movies, the best shows, hands down. These girls are super talented, okay? They're identical twin sisters. They started their acting career as babies. They've been acting since they were literal children, but they're most known for, obviously, their syndicated show, Sister, that came on air in the 90s, mid-90s, late 90s, something to that effect. And they were just teenagers at that point. But since then, they've had very fruitful careers, very successful, prominent careers, and have gone on to do some really amazing things in the industry. Now, in this reading, I'm going to be focusing more so on Tamera Mowry Housley. You know, that's her add-on last name because she is married now. I'm going to be focusing more on her, but because they're identical twins, there are a lot of commonalities that are going to apply to both of them. Tamera is actually the older twin, with her being born 2 minutes before Tia. So they were born on July 6, 1978 Tia 4:32 p.m. and Tamera at 4:30 p.m. in Glenhausen, Germany. Now, for those of y'all who don't know, Tia and Tamera are biracial, with their mother being a black woman and their father is a German. He's of German descent, a white man. And they also have other brothers and sisters. I don't know, everybody should know this, but you know, I'm not going to assume things, but they have a younger brother by the name of Taj Mowry, who was also a very respected actor in his own right. But I mean, I've only known him. He's only played in a few roles, but he's most famous for his role as TJ Henderson and Smart Guy. He's a smart guy. That used to be my show too. Oh my goodness. And so this family is full of talent, full of actors, and they're just amazing, and I stand, okay? So let's go ahead and get started with the reading. So the girls have a life path number of 2, and that number 2 deals with family, femininity, receptiveness, and cooperation, which denotes a common theme that I see in their chart of them being mainly family women. That's kind of a huge part of their existence, is what they're supposed to be doing in this lifetime, serving as mothers and really being plugged into that maternal part of their being. Okay, so that's that number 2. It also reinforces the importance and the close-knit nature of their own family. And this is also reinforced with the girls being Cancer suns, Cancer moons, and they're Scorpio ascendants, but they do have a surplus of Cancer energy in their chart. So their sun is at the 14th degree, and with it being in their 8th house, it can denote a very, although strong, intense bond. It could also create lots of tumultuous situations within the family. So don't get me wrong, I feel like family is very important to them, and I do feel like that they were very close to their family, especially growing up, but there were also a lot of intense situations that took place within the family. Yeah, we're going to put it like that. And to reinforce this, their sun is conjoined to the fixed star Canopus, which deals with domestic affliction, trouble with the father particularly, but the parents in general. And it can even point towards financial loss, danger of accidents, burns and fevers, as well as an unfavorable end to one's life. I know that went left really quickly, but just putting that out there. Now, getting back to this Cancer energy with them being Cancer sons, as I stated before, there is a strong attachment to family, and they've actually described themselves as a close-knit family, quote unquote. This also brings about a strong urge to be a mother or a wife, especially in women. And, this is also very true for the girls, even though they were kind of late to the party of motherhood, because I don't think they had children until they were like in their mid-30s and things of that nature, because, they were achieving things within their career. But once they stepped into motherhood, both of Tia and Tamera, both of the twins, were very much hands-on. So, they could be very great caretakers, warm, nurturing, and they could also have tendencies to be a helicopter mom. That's another manifestation of that Cancer energy. And this is due to Cancer being a worry wart. And I can very much see this being true with both Tia and Tamera. And also with a lot of their lives centering around motherhood, it only makes sense that Tamera and her sister Tia went into the business of catering to other mothers. Now, they came out with a product line called Milky, which is an all-natural elixir that helps new moms lactate, as well as another product called Stretching, which is a stretch mark cream for post-operation scars. And this is also, you can attribute this to Cancer's hypersensitivity to the breast, face, and stomach area. So I thought that was very interesting that they come out with those products that directly correlate to a lot of the hot spots on a Cancer individual, so that was pretty neat. Also, another manifestation of Cancer is that it tends, or people, who have prominent Cancer placements tend to gain weight easily, especially once again in those hot spots, the face, the stomach, and the breasts. Another hotspot for Cancer is the womb. So there may or may not have been some issues with fertility. They may have also dealt with issues such as the fibroids, the utero fibroids thing. So that's another manifestation of that Cancer energy. There also tends to be a deep connection with race, nationality, and culture. And given that the girls are biracial, so literally half black, half white, they could have a deep connection to either side, or maybe both of their roots. And at several points, I've heard both Tia and Tamera express a very genuine closeness to like both sides. And I think just the way that it happened to pan out, because Tamera got a lot of flack for marrying a white man, which is why I do not agree with the black community's tendency to accept or just automatically label biracial people as black. And it's not to say that there's anything wrong with biracial people or mixed race people. I love people of every shade, kind, flavor. It don't make me no never mind. However, let's just be honest. If you're half black and half something else, that doesn't necessarily make you any more black than it does make you whatever else that you're mixed with. So, and I know that's a very nuanced topic that's for a different conversation for a different day. However, being that Tia and Tamera are both biracial, they both have very strong ties to, the cultures that raised them. And being honest, it can be both black and white, their European side and their black side. And I just feel like Tamera kind of gravitated more towards the European side, while Tia gravitated more towards the black side. That's just kind of how I look at that. And it definitely manifested or reflected in their choice of husband, all right? Another manifestation of their Cancer sun in the 8th house, it could produce a nationalist husband, or a husband who, in worst case scenario, is racist. Cancer is one of the most racist signs of the zodiac. Interestingly enough, Tamera also caught a lot of flack after people discovered that her husband worked for Fox News. Fox News is a huge propaganda arm of the Republican Party, and they do promote a rather, conservative, number one, but nationalist-centered point of view. So that is definitely reflective of Tia, or Tamera, her Cancer sun. I would not be surprised if her husband was racist. Despite what they say it's not true. but I feel like he could be. That's a very strong possibility. Cancer also tends to be a crybaby. That's another negative manifestation. And I feel like, you can kind of see that with Tamera on the real. Very emotional. And they have a very hard time being objective because they're so emotionally tied to their viewpoints and, their worldview. Their Cancer energy is also reflected in an attraction towards cooking. And Cancer, along with Taurus in a certain respect, tends to be one of the signs of food, right? They love food. They love to cook, which I thought to be very interesting because I think Tia has her own cooking show. Okay. And Cancer loves anything that's going to bring them comfort, especially comfort foods, which it stood out in my mind. I think one of the first videos I saw of Tia in her cooking show, she was creating homemade mac and cheese. Everybody knows homemade mac and cheese is the quintessential comfort food, right? Cancers love that sense of comfort. Cancers are also loyal and impressionable, as well as creative. And I could say that for Tia and Tamera both. Cancer can also produce, especially when in the sun, can produce someone who is particularly clingy to not just family, but specifically the husband and children. All right. And women, these women can be very attached to their husband and children. Very, like I said, either nitpicky or just overly like helicoptery. You know what I mean? Like they can't separate themselves from their partners and their children, which can be kind of annoying to the partner and the children, especially the children. And I can see Tia and Tamera kind of operating in that type of mode. Now, their sun is also conjoined to their Jupiter in the 8th house, which reinforces a lot of those Cancer sun traits. And it also gives them a very strong emotional connection to family customs. Like I said, customs, traditions. I think it was Tia went on to the Breakfast Club and she's starting a new show and was just talking about how huge of a difference her childhood made on her life and, certain things that she wanted to pass down. And I think she was talking about from like the black side of her family, how they were raised in a certain way. And she just found it to be so important and it shaped her so much as a person. That's so sun conjoined to Jupiter and Cancer. These people are, they love that connection, that sense of, tradition that they get from family. It's also rather a religious placement too, especially with Jupiter in the fold. This placement can bring about very strong religious convictions from a very early age, which can also be reflected by the twins, as I read in their Wikipedia bio, that they were baptized at the age of 8, okay, and called themselves, born again Christians at 8, y'all, okay? I was somewhere playing on the playground. They were getting baptized and worried about Christianity. I think it was Tamera also didn't lose her virginity to the age 29 because she wanted to serve Christ in that respect. Okay. And this aspect can point towards somebody who views their religion as an emotional comfort. Once again, with Cancer, it all goes back to comfort, what feels good, right? So I thought that was interesting as well. Sun conjoined to Jupiter also reinforces having a husband that is concerned with preserving the rights of his own racial group, which once again just reinforces this theme of Tamera's husband possibly being a racist. Okay, Sun conjoined to Jupiter in Cancer can absolutely, Jupiter in Cancer creates a person who wants to protect or look after people of their own kind in and of itself. So, they say he's not racist, but, we all know you can marry a black woman, a biracial woman, or whoever and still be racist. Like, that's just what it is. That's just what it is. This aspect also creates somebody who is a world traveler, and they encompass a very strong sense of multiculturalism, which is obviously true for the girls. They were born in Germany, and they did a lot of traveling. Jupiter in Cancer is also great for writing books. And this could point towards Tia even publishing a book about motherhood, because there goes that Cancer influence. Jupiter in Cancer is very creative, and they do really well with nonfiction books as well as fiction. And, you know, the fact that she wrote about motherhood, like, which is another very strong Cancer theme, is very fitting. Their sun, moon, and Jupiter are all in the 8th house, which deals with them having very extreme emotional bonds, love-hate relationships. And I'm wondering if there's lots of money within the family, you know what I'm saying, outside of Tia and Tamera. You know, that's a possibility as well. Tamera's sun is squaring her Pluto in the 10th house of Libra, which could point towards her having a rather controlling husband. People having very strong reaction towards her husband. I feel like they could deal with that as far as race goes. But I feel like he's controlling it, but we're going to get to him a little later. Her sun is also trining her 12th house Uranus and Scorpio, which could deal with the girls either being involved in secret societies or being really plugged into a lot of people with power, like a lot of their social networks. And I mean, that's how a lot of actors and actresses in Hollywood get their jobs anyway. So to a degree, that's really not surprising to me. Their Saturn is at the 27th degree of Leo, and it's conjoined to their Venus, okay, in their 9th house, which deals with the girls attracting partners in the entertainment industry. Which, I mean, even the same could be true for Tia, because her husband is an actor, a well-known actor himself. It deals with the girls traveling abroad to work in acting. It could even point towards them having some very karmic issues involving children. Like their children could have some serious issues rooted in karmic debt. And I feel like this could manifest. I don't know if Tia's son has autism. Y'all fact check me in the comment section. But that could absolutely be a manifestation of that. This could also point towards karmic situations surrounding men that could have started with the father. Or maybe they had a very loving father who helped build their confidence. But alternatively, this aspect could point towards some very painful losses and experiences with men. This could also point towards some loss of money through bad investments. And it could point towards them having husbands with great careers who are very kingly in nature, or alternatively, a man-child. And this placement also creates somebody who needs to develop more confidence and become more comfortable with being in the spotlight, kind of pointing towards the girls having a sense of awkwardness about them, especially with their Saturn squaring their ascendant. You know, a sense of awkwardness, timidness, or reservation in the way that they present themselves to the public, or just being kind of uncomfortable with themselves in a way. This could also point towards a delay in relationships, as well as a tendency to have a I'm married to my career kind of mindset. And the girls, I'm not sure about Tia. I think Tia got married kind of early on, but I know Tamera got married a little bit later in life. So that could be another possible manifestation of that. And it just points towards the girls needing to develop more confidence and becoming more comfortable with being in the spotlight, which is interesting because I think I was actually on the phone with my homegirl, Lovely Lee, and she was telling me that Tamera, was it Tia, did an interview where she was saying that she actually enjoys being looked at as a D-list celebrity. Like, she feels like she can still live her life. Like, the girls actually don't really enjoy being mega stars and mega celebrities. Something else that I found to be interesting is that their Saturn is conjoined to the fixed star Alfred. And this could reinforce a sense of insecurity within the girls, because this can bring about somebody who feels like they don't really have any creative talents that they've mastered within themselves. You know, the whole like jack of all trades but master of none mentality. Like, okay, I might be good at this and that, but I don't have anything that I'm really truly good at. You know, it could point towards a sense of insecurity there, or at some point having a certain sense of insecurity, or even about their careers. They also have Capricorn in the second house, which with Capricorn's ruler being in their ninth house of Aries, deals with them making money by way of acting and entertainment. And it also gives them a rather traditional sense of values, like old-fashioned values, you know. They could be very, like I said, just old-fashioned in the way that they do things, in the way that they carry themselves, their views on the world. And it does just reinforce them being some very, very, very hard workers. Now, let's throw it in reverse and take it back to Tamera's husband. More on him. Adam, I think that's his name, Adam Housley. I looked at his chart really briefly. Like, I created a birth chart for him. And he's a Leo, okay? Which is very interesting, okay, with their Venus conjoined to Saturn and Leo. His sun actually happens to be conjoined to Tamera's Saturn, which could point towards him being a very bossy figure. Like, it cements my previous inclination, right? Him even serving as an authority figure to her, him being egotistical, and it could also reinforce him being like a rather good provider. But, you know, I feel like he's very controlling in their relationship. Way more than they would probably like to let on. Now, their Mercury is at the 6th degree of Leo. Their number 6 deals with creativity and them being in the entertainment industry as well. But also, you know, it deals with them having siblings in the entertainment industry. Obviously, one another, but then also their other siblings. Like I said, Taj Mari is also an actor himself. But definitely, it could point towards them working with each other, especially with Gemini on the 7th house. And I mean, obviously, Gemini represents the twin, right? So it's them going into business with their twin, like them working with each other, you know. So I thought that was pretty fascinating. The Mercury does seem, it's squaring their Chiron in Taurus, which can produce dysfunctional relationships with siblings. So I'm wondering, like, you know, whether it be each other or maybe what their relationship with the rest of their siblings is looking like. But this could also produce loss. It reinforces the theme of them having some type of financial loss, like I said, through bad investments and or a form of gambling. I'm thinking more so through investment. So I'm wondering what that's about. Their Mercury is also squaring their Uranus in the 12th house of Scorpio, which points towards there being scandals surrounding siblings. Could be sexual in nature, which is interesting because people don't remember the tea, but I remember the tea. Okay, Jason Lee from Hollywood Unlocked, that messy little queen. He outed their brother Taj Mari as being gay because he said that he was having sex with him. Now, this didn't really catch on like that, but I remember. But this aspect can produce that, though. It can produce scandal. It can produce somebody feeling like they're isolated. Like, it can produce maybe even the girls feeling like they're isolated from the industry at some point. It can also point towards maybe even secret affairs with people in the industry. So, you know, that's just that on that. And their Mars is at the 12th degree of Virgo, okay, in their 10th house, which can deal with, well, Mars and Virgo in and of itself can produce a woman who attracts men who either are in need of their help. Okay, these men can be very insecure. And, I mean, they can be very hypercritical as well. Okay, men who try to fix up everything about you, and these men could pick you apart. They can be very controlling. And I can't speak to Tia and Ty's relationship, but I can definitely see this, especially based off of other components. I could see this being true for Tamera and her husband. So, you know, that's interesting. And their Mars is actually forming a square to their Sagittarius Neptune. And I look at this as, especially with 12 dealing with sacrifice, I view this as Tia or Tamera, I keep confusing them, Tamera depriving herself of her own sexual drive in the name of her religious beliefs. And it could point towards her being rather abstinent for a prolonged period of time, you know. And that Mars Virgo is similar to Mars and Scorpio. It needs sex in order to thrive, in order to function. It's a very, very sexual placement for Mars. With the ruler of their 6th house, which is Venus, they have Taurus on the 6th house and their 9th house of Leo as well. It points towards the girls having like their work conditions have to match their values, right? They have very strong set of values. Of course, the sixth house could also reinforce them dealing in the industry, right? The music or the entertainment industry. But it also points towards them feeling like if the work I do, the projects I take on, I can't align with this shit as a person, I'm not doing it. Like if there's a particular role that requires me to do blah, 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 and that's not who I am as a person, I'm not taking it. You know what I'm saying? And it also reinforces them working in foreign lands. The rule of their 10th house is also in the 9th house. With that Venus there or Libra on the 10th house, which reinforces them having careers as actresses as well as their involvement in the arts. Their 6th house of Taurus, that Venus element from their 6th house and their 10th house can also denote them having a mother who works for them. You know what I mean? And if I'm not mistaken, I believe their mother was their manager up until a certain point, which could obviously deal with, I wonder if there was either some money issues, especially with that 8th house moon. Like I said, dramatic, very intense, transformative issues with the mom and even money. So I got a question about that. Their 7th Lord is in the 9th house, which, like I said, reinforces them having business partnerships with one another. Excuse me. But then Gemini in their 7th house, this could produce a marriage in where the husband cheats. And I wouldn't be surprised if their husbands were cheating. And it could also even produce, I wouldn't even be surprised if their husbands had some bisexual tendencies. With that Gemini, I don't put nothing past it. And swinging it back around to Adam Housley, I pulled his chart back up. This man is a Leo sun, okay, with his sun conjoined to his Venus and opposing his Mars. He could absolutely, I feel like he got some issues with women. This could, Venus opposing Mars, I always say, can absolutely create for somebody who is rather a gay or a man who has homosexual tendencies. I'm not going to lie, especially with that Aquarius Mars. He is also an Aquarius North Node, Leo South Node. Oh my God, with his sun conjoined to that Leo South Node. Oh yeah, he could be a full-blown narcissist, y'all. I feel sorry for Tamera, actually. Like, I don't see this being a good thing in their marriage. I feel like he's a pompous asshole. And I feel for her on that one. I definitely feel for her. So that's very interesting. But overall, the girls, let me see, they're Aries South nodes, right? Libra North nodes. And with their moon, it's forming a sextile to their North node, actually. Meaning that, they come from they could even have been men in past lives. So they come from a natural place of, I would even dare to say, selfishness, especially with Aries in the 4th house, their 4th and 5th house. Selfishness to a certain degree. And in this lifetime, they were put here to be, it kind of reinforces this theme of them being family women, them being nurturers, them being here to work with others and forge relationships. And, all of that Cancer energy is super compatible with that. And I feel like they've actually unlocked that Libra North Node in many respects, So, yeah. But I'm still side-eyeing Tamera's husband. This reading didn't make it no better. So with that being said, this concludes my birth chart reading for Tia and Tamera. Sista. Y'all drop down in the comment section. Let me know what you thought of the reading, as well as any other suggestions you may have for celebrity readings. And as always, make sure you practice unconditional self-love so that you can love others. And until next time, I holla.